Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero with Powerlifting Technique, and today we're going to talk about the best back and chest workout you can do to help you grow and develop your muscle today. A lot of people, when they think about building their chest and building their back, they kind of revert to some of the icons in the industry, such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman, things like that. And I'm here to tell you that based on my expertise and my ability to work with different athletes, I do have a pretty good perspective on this topic, and I'm here to help you understand the best way to create a strong and solid chest and back workout routine for you to develop muscle and to develop strength at the same time as well. This is mostly built for the general masses who want to build size and strength. So if you want to develop a good routine with multiple workouts within it, in order to have the best routine, you want to hit different positions. That's the number one thing I would mention in this video. And I'm talking flat bench at an incline. We're talking about overhead motion as well. We want to really hit a bunch of different positions, so we hit the muscle fibers differently as well. Your pectoralis major, aka your pecs, has the base head of the pec right here, and then you got the upper chest as well, depending on if you're talking about the sternum or the clavicle. There's different parts of the chest that can only be integrated if you're on a flat bench, at an incline, or maybe even at an overhead position. Same thing with your back, but in regards to the trapezius muscle. So when you take your shoulder blades and pinch them together, one of the muscle groups that helps that is the traps. Now the traps take up your mid back all the way to the top of your neck, your C1. So that is a big muscle group to challenge, and the only way you're going to do that is if you hit it from different positions. You know, back to some of the icons that we were talking about earlier, one of the ones that I always think about is Arnold. I'm from that era, you know, being youth and watching some of his influence on me. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a powerlifting background. If you're not familiar with that, that is a fact. So he didn't just show up to it being a bodybuilder. He actually had a background in powerlifting. When you watch some of the training, like pumping iron, things like that, he hit a lot of the flat bench, the incline bench, the bent row, and then that T-bar as well. He got a lot of that done because when he was training, he was really trying to, like I mentioned, target the pecs, whether it's the sternal head or the clavicular head. He was trying to work the lower trap, the middle trap, the upper trap, and then the lats as well that correspond to a lot of overhead pull down motions too. But some people ask, should you train chest and back on the same day? Should it be a different day? It really depends on what your consistency is going to be. Are you going to train 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week? I would imagine if you want to build the thickest chest and back, you're going to do them on separate days. And the reason why too is because the chest is a big muscle group. The back is a big muscle group. If you can allow yourself to train chest one day and then back another day, you're hitting big muscle groups that are going to make you in more of an anabolic state so that you can recruit other muscles that you train on those days as well. I'd hate for you to waste a whole day on big muscle groups and then try to do arm muscle groups the next time, because if I was to pair chest with triceps, a little muscle group, my triceps would thrive off of the fact that I'm using so many muscles on my chest to start the workout. I'm kind of putting myself in a metabolic state as the catalyst to grow those triceps after the fact. So on a back day, I might want to train my biceps because now I'm taking the little muscle group of the biceps to pair with a big muscle group like the back. The biceps can thrive off of how metabolic my body is during a back routine. It kind of works itself out in that fashion. A little fun fact for you guys, I had smaller arms growing up, but now they've gotten much bigger. I've gotten up to 20 inches on my bicep. One of the big hacks I did for my training was I paired leg day with biceps because I knew my legs were big muscle groups. If I was to pair biceps at the end of those workouts, my biceps would thrive off of the metabolic state I'm in. And that's the same thing I'm talking about with chest and back. If you did a chest and back workout, that's a super exhausting workout. If it needs to happen, that's fine. But if you can separate them and pair them with smaller muscle groups, you'll see a big difference in your anatomy, not just on your upper body, but your arms, your shoulders as well. What does a pro chest workout look like? The first thing I'm going to do is bench press. I think bench press is one of the most important movements you can do. If you are trying to build size, I would start off with 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps on bench, and just to build up to a high intensity. And then from there, I would go from the barbell to dumbbells and hit the incline press. And I would go 3 to 5 sets from there, and I would go 8 to 12 reps on those things instead. I would not go a high incline. I would go like a 30-degree incline. If you go 45 degrees, Now we're talking about more shoulders, and a lot of people have achy shoulders. A low incline would be just enough to train the top of the chest. So bench press was heavy. Incline press, not as heavy because it's dumbbells and it's 8 to 12 reps. The reason why I'm doing that is because as the workout continues, I'm going to add more reps to each movement to make it more and more exhausting. I'm going to lift heavier at the front of the workout and lighter at the end of the workout, but I'm gonna focus a ton on effort by the end. And then from there, I would start my back workout. Now I'm gonna bent over row and work on my core, consequently, because you gotta brace when you bent row. And then I would work at least 5 sets. And I would go 8 to 12 reps on that. And I would make sure when I row that my chest is a little bit more exposed and that people could like read the logo on my shirt. The reason why is because if you row with a tall chest, now you're hitting the low to middle fibers of the trap, and hopefully doing something with that row can help you not just work those trap muscles but also the rhomboids and all the other parts of the posterior chain as well. And then afterwards I would do cable lat pull downs and influence my elbows to go outward, because now I'm working a different range of motion, a different plane of movement, and I would go 3 to 5 sets of 15 or 20 reps just to make more reps, more exhaustion, and to really hammer my lats, because my lats are missing a lot of the movement so far in the workout. I need them to engage a little bit more. And then the last thing I'm going to do are rear delt flies to work my posterior shoulder, because here's the thing, one of the weakest muscle groups most people have is the rear deltoids. And the reason why I would throw rear deltoids at the end is because it's going to support your posterior anatomy. It's also going to teach you how to decelerate when you start pressing heavier. And I do think that's a very important part of training, and I thought it might be kind of a wild card to throw that in there with you guys to kind of see if you're paying attention or not. And I would do rear deltoid flies, whether it's bent over or reverse fly with the cables, and I would do sets of 20, probably about just 3 sets. Focus on form, technique, and to really hammer those posterior deltoids as much as possible. And that would be my 5 movements: bench press, dumbbell incline, barbell bent over row, cable lat pull down, and then single or rear reverse deltoid flies to help with my rear deltoids and to be a more efficient puller and pusher as well. I hope you enjoyed my feedback. I hope you enjoyed the workout. I hope it makes sense. And if you have questions, concerns, please let us know. Subscribe, like the channel, leave a comment, ask questions. We'll clarify more. We'll get you a link to the article we just wrote about this workout and what we would want to do with you guys. And we'll hopefully catch you next time too. So thank you.